A thought I had a couple days ago was that, he got suspended,
Eylon Levy, he's an Israeli government spokesperson,
and I
not by
commented,
Twitter, but by the Israeli government.
right, yeah, because of his lying.
Eylon Levy, thank you for being here. Why isn't there more of an effort to make sure people don't starve to death on top of the violence?
My heart really goes out to the individuals who were crushed in that stampede and who were run over when the truck drivers whose aid was being looted tried to escape and ran them over. It's horrific. And my heart goes out to civilians as well who know and have seen that Hamas is hijacking aid and feel betrayed by the UN agencies that have said nothing about the terror organization stealing aid. Now let's look about what we are doing as Israel to facilitate the provision of aid into the Gaza Strip, because it's important. There is excess capacity at the Israeli crossings for more aid to enter. We can facilitate as much as the world wants to send in. Not only by land, we've facilitated aid drops as well. The problem is that the UN is struggling to distribute the aid at the pace that Israel is facilitating its entry. Aid is piling up not on the Israeli side of the crossings, but on the Gazan side of the crossings, where the UN is struggling to distribute that aid.
Can Israel not do more within Gaza to distribute the aid?
We're working together with international partners, and the convoy you saw was, I believe, the fourth this week going into the northern Gaza Strip, and we're working on finding new ways to deliver aid into northern Gaza. This convoy was part of a private contract with the private sector to try to get aid in. Because the problem till now, aid has been distributed through UNRWA. And as has been widely established by now, that's an agency that was working as a Hamas front, riddled with terrorists, covering up for Hamas, trying to steal the aid.
Because he's been lying left and right. He just lied about the burnt babies. Like, he even lies about things Israeli media has walked back.
Yeah, he has not ceased with his lying. He lied to the wrong person, and he lied to a representative from Britain, and that had some consequences apparently. And so he got suspended, but I noticed he continued to lie online, and he continued to lie, and his bio continues to say he is an official Israeli spokesperson.
So he lies about literally everything.
And the comment that I had made was that why is this Herculean piece of shit still presenting himself online as an official Israeli spokesperson, lying, while a giant festering pustule that lies constantly is an apt representation for the Israeli government. It still makes me wonder, why is he still allowed to present himself like that on an online platform while still lying? But then I thought too, it also kind of spoke to me that he doesn't do that just for the paycheck, because even when it's not technically his job, the shameless Hasbro continues. But then earlier today, the thought that I had was, well, maybe now is actually the time when he can truly, aside from the bio still stating that he's an official spokesperson, aside from that, while he's suspended, is probably the time for him to amp up the lies, because then technically speaking, he's not misrepresenting, he's not speaking on behalf of a government or what have you.
Oh yeah, I thought that you were going to say that he's trying to show off to Israel. Well, two things. One is he could just be a true believer, but the other thing is that not just doing it for the money, but the other thing is he may be showing off. Like, guys, even when I'm not getting paid to lie, I lie.
Right.
I mean, that's some work ethic.
I mean, well,
the
and to be fair, like,
not
if
the
we're just
Protestant work ethic.
and if we're just being real about it too, like, he's probably still getting paid.
Yeah.
Like,
right. This was all probably a PR move. We actually have video of a British MP.
That's the lady. Yeah.
Who he lied to. I have this set up. Let's take a look at this.
I seem to have ended up in the middle of an argument with the Israeli government that I was surprised to be having. I was in Al Arish, which is the town on the border with Palestine for Egypt, where all the aid is piled up, and we are talking thousands of trucks just sat there full of aid waiting to go in. I saw the aid that had been declined, everything from neonatal resuscitation kits, all the way through to boxes that stored children's books, all the way through to crutches, wheelchairs, and maternity kits that had all been rejected on the border, including, as David Cameron says in his letter today, tons of British provided aid. And so I came back and reported very straightforward on what I was seeing and my frustrations that more aid could be getting in. And the Israeli spokesperson decided to come in on my Twitter and make various points that I knew to be factually inaccurate. and I asked him for evidence about them. And then, knowing him to be wrong, I wrote to David Cameron asking him to correct them. And I'm pleased today that he's put that on record.
Mm-hmm. Do you think do you think he knowingly lied, Alicia?
Unfortunately, I find it very difficult to come to any other conclusion because he said that the UN demanded that the crossing was closed on Saturdays. Now, I knew that not to be the case because the UN themselves had told me that that was a requirement of set by the Israeli government, that it was not to be open on that day. And of course, I had spoken to the Egyptian government. I had spoken to the British government about this when I returned, who had confirmed that to be the case. So for him to say something that was outright so easy to confirm to be untrue. And the other point that I found really distasteful was his claim that the UK government should, in his words, test us. He said, send 100 more trucks a day and we will get them through. Test us. This is not a game. People are starving on the ground. And there are issues within Gaza. There is aid being stolen. There is not enough vehicles to be able to move aid around. And again, Israel is not allowing many humanitarians to have their visas approved so they can go in. However, this is a very, very serious issue. And the reality is the majority of the problem sits on the Israeli side of the border, where they are not opening the gates for long enough. They are putting essentially on a day-to-day basis, the rules of what can and can't go in are being changed. They are not open for enough days and they are not open for enough hours. And David Cameron's been very explicit about that in his letter to me today.
And I know we're going to go speak with Kevin here real quick. And so I'm sure, Katie, next week we'll probably get more into this. But I know you probably feel the same way, that when all of this continues to go on and, UN resolution gets passed saying, an official one gets passed saying this needs to stop now, and on the same day they keep doing what they're doing every day, I wake up and I'm just like, this has to stop it. Like,
Right.
and every day the people that have the power to do something continue to not do anything, and I'm just at a loss for words. I got a request that we play, just 1 second, and it will be very, very short. All right, there you go.
It's always time to play that
Yeah.